Hello and welcome to today's reading. Today we are using Green Grass Magic by Jerry Baker, and as always, all of the books or decks that are used in my readings are linked in the description box, so if you want to check out any of the materials we use today, you can go down there and see that. And we are on page 173. Methods of Weed Control, from Hand Pulling to Soil Improvement. Unfortunately, none of the natural products that are available can be spread or sprayed over the entire lawn and still be savvy enough to kill only weeds. At least not yet, but my research pals at some agriculturally oriented colleges are working on this as we speak. In the meantime, try going au naturel with the following chemical-free approaches to weed control. They require a little work but are well worth the effort. And if in spite of all your good deeds and intentions, weeds are still a fact of life, stay cool. As they say in Paris, c'est la vie. Try living in harmony with weeds. If it's green, mow it. You'll be much happier that way. It sounds to me like there has been some wheel spinning and you have been trying to figure out a quick fix for something, whether it's an overall emotional well-being, something, or if it's a specific topic in your life. But it is sort of a broad overview. It feels like it's a broad subject, but you haven't found much success in finding a one-size-fits-all solution to your issue or issues. I just got the scent and taste and texture of an apple strudel. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if it applies to you, maybe you're eating one, or maybe you just had one, or I don't know why that's a very strong flavor and sensation I'm getting right now. But yes, so I feel that you haven't found a one-size-fits-all solution to your issue. However, there are ways that you can try. It's just gonna take a lot longer and a lot more effort. I'm feeling like you have been looking for a way to get everything in one go, but unfortunately, the reality is you have to actually do everything one at a time. That might be something you don't want to hear. It may not be great news to you, but what is good news is that you are at a point where you're willing to accept that, even if you don't want it to be true. And if you are able to do that, it means that you have somewhere to move forward. I feel like you've been in a holding space for a while because you have been looking for this miracle answer and it hasn't shown up, and you found all these things that are promising it and you still haven't found it. And so now you're kind of at the point where you're like, okay, I need to do something because this isn't working and I haven't found anything that answers all of my issues or questions, and I need to do something. There needs to be some movement in my life, some progress. So what it sounds like you're being called to do is to look at the places in your life. If you don't know what I'm talking about already, look at the places in your life where you've kind of been holding your breath and waiting for a solution to fall into your lap, and understand that you have to do the work to do it. I saw something the other day where it was someone talking about making money specifically through a business that they were working on designing. And what they said was, I was faking it. So they were posting things on their social medias, they were making a few products, they were advertising it sometimes, and they would tell people, oh, this is what I'm doing, but they weren't really putting their nose down and getting the work done. They were doing enough to make it look like they were, and kind of just hoping that it would happen overnight. Like they would just wake up one day and they'd have done all the work and they wouldn't have to sit down, figure out a strategy, troubleshoot the strategies that they tried and try new ones, and kind of go through the entire process of building this empire they were wanting to build. And because they were just faking it, as this person said, they never actually made any progress. They were talking about it a lot. They knew all of the right things to say and do, and they may have done a lot of research and all of that, but they hadn't actually put any of it into action. They hadn't actually step by step done it all. It's kind of like, in theory, I am doing this. In theory, I know how to create an empire, but they didn't actually practically do anything with the information they had. All that to say is, I think you do have a lot of understanding of what it will take, but you haven't actually put one foot in front of the other and done it. And now it's time to do that. If you have been trying to manifest for something specific and you're not just thinking about issues or blockages, it may be that your manifestations are there, but you haven't done the physical work to bring it in. Now, that may be just because you don't want to put the effort in if you don't have a guarantee that you'll see the results you want, which is totally valid. It's very often that we get disillusioned because we were told that if you just follow XYZ, then you'll get ABC, but it doesn't always happen. And because of that, we start to not believe that it's true, that if we follow this plan or this path, that we'll actually get the results we want. And so we kind of get stuck in a holding space where we know that there are plans, but we don't know which one is really going to get us what we want, and we don't want to be disappointed because we're afraid that if we try something and we get disappointed, it means that we can never have it. It means that we can never be happy. It means that we can never create improvement in our lives, that we don't actually have power to create positive change in our lives. And that is a completely valid fear, and many of us face it. I have faced that too. But you have to get to a point where it's like, well, I know that doing nothing isn't going to change anything. And I know that nobody is going to be able to change it for me. Nobody will. So even if it does nothing, at least I'll know I don't need to put my energy there anymore. Or you could think, at least I can try and know that I'm doing my best. Another thing that you can do is, actually, this might infuriate you a little bit, but if you find people who have the same story but have completed the other side of the journey, so if you are the artist example, then maybe you find a rags to riches artist story, someone who was self-taught, someone who never took a formal class, someone who has no degrees, and now they're a huge famous artist and they did all of this amazing stuff. Or even something that you perceive to be more attainable, like I never did anything formally, but then I started going to craft fairs and selling stuff, and I make a living off of it now. This may infuriate you, like I said, because it's where you want to be but aren't, and you can see that you have just as much skill that they do, but you aren't there yet, so that may make you feel a little bit upset. But if you are able to harness that example or harness that story and help you to motivate yourself and remind yourself that they did it, I can too, then it would be a helpful tool to use. There may also be a block to what it would mean if you did attain these things. So the example that's coming to mind is, if you were to win the lottery, that would be bad because fill in the blank. Some people, it may be bad because the family that they came from wasn't well off, and so in order to cope with that lack of financial safety and security, they decided that all people who have wealth are bad and evil, and that if you have money, then it makes you a bad person, and that means no one wants to be around you, and so now you don't have anyone around you, but you've got tons of money. Or another example of that may be, well, if I win the lottery, then the people around me will just want me to give them everything, and they'll want to take more from me than I am comfortable giving, and then I'll feel guilty if I don't, and so then I will, and then I'll feel bad about it, so I'll resent the people around me, but I will also have made them happy, and I don't know what to do with that. And I also don't know how to find people who genuinely like me for me. So these are examples of blockages you may have to being successful at the thing that you are trying to pull into your life, or at succeeding in clearing these issues from your life. If you can work on your resistance to the outcome that you are looking to create, that will help. And if you can look at the resistance you have to where you are now, the experience you're having now, and the journey to getting there itself, that will help too. Because ultimately, if you want something, it is meant for you. If you genuinely want something for the pure purpose of experiencing that thing, not for a different purpose that you aren't conscious of, then you will have it. It is meant for you. The only thing stopping it is you, your mindset, and your resistance to the results that you are trying to bring about for yourself. I hope that this resonated. I hope that it made sense. I feel like I went on a bit of a mental tangent, but I feel like that's what was coming through. So I hope that it resonated. Let me know in the comments if it did. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell and select all notifications so that you actually get updated every time I upload a new video. Until next time, bye.